everyone, and welcome to another episode of Modern Mom, where we talk about being a mom in the 21st century. My name is Remy Kay. I'm a certified life coach and a comedian. Today, I have with me Rachel.
Hello, it's Larrenaga.
Larrenaga, did I mess it up?
That's
so
okay. It's better than Safeway or any grocery store where it's Mrs. Larrenaga.
Okay.
But it's fine.
It's Italian, right?
No, it's actually Basque. My maiden name is Ragni. So my full name is Rachel Ragni Larrenaga, which is like step out of The Sopranos. So my maiden name is Ragni, which means spiders. My family's from Italy. And Larrenaga is actually a Spanish Basque name. But so interesting story. My husband's family, it actually wasn't Larrenaga. They grew up with the last name Sanchez because when their family fled Franco's Spain, they were on the wrong side of the war, and so they changed their name. So the brothers all decided to change their name back to Larrenaga.
When was the war?
The Franco, I think Spain actually never officially joined World War II. Mm-hmm. And the only reason that's fresh in my mind is because we just went to Barcelona with our kids. Mm-hmm. And we did the full, history walk tour and stuff. Mm-hmm. So that was during the Civil War. When I say Franco's war, he was a dictator. The Civil War that happened there was in whatever time that was in 1914. I think it was 1939 or I think it officially ended before V-Day. So anyway.
It's a rich history.
Yes, rich European. We are European mutts in my family.
So you've got two girls.
I do. I have Amelia, who's 11, and Ava, who's 9. And they keep me on my toes. They are both wonderful. Love them dearly. There was a lot of, we're just getting into the summer program this week. We got back from a trip and it was pretty tiring, and so the girls started summer camp yesterday. Amelia's doing an ice skating camp and Ava's doing a swimming camp.
You like to exercise as well, don't you?
I use it as a way to kind of calm my mind. It's my form of meditation. Before I had children, I used to do triathlons and century rides and half marathons, but now that I'm a mom, my workouts are just for myself. I don't think I'll run competitively again, and I wasn't very good. I mean, it's just more of an endorphin high thing for me. But I really did enjoy it, and I still enjoy it. I took my dog for a nice 7-mile run this morning. A lot of women I speak to, a lot of executive women especially, say that they meditate or they do prayer. I do my form of meditation when I'm running. And depending on work schedules, it's like first thing in the morning. I will get up at 5:15 if I have to, 5 o'clock, just to get a good workout in. And it's tough during COVID. Obviously, we couldn't go to the gym, so I built a gym in my garage. I got a Peloton. A friend recently gifted us their elliptical machine. I have all my weights, and so I started doing everything just in my garage, and I haven't gone back to a gym, which is good. It's good and bad. I miss the camaraderie of being in a gym, and I also used to do like a lot of different like riding clubs or things like that. I haven't done that either, so that might be something I look at doing as my kids grow older and I have more free time, getting back into that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. I want my husband to get on board with like something like that with me so that we can enjoy it together. And so I would come home and he'd be like grilling meat, and it was fun. Mm-hmm. And then we got kids and those days went away.
Yeah, that happens. It definitely changes. You mentioned working out, especially early in the morning. I'm the same way. I like to, if I have to wake up at 5:30, 6 o'clock, I absolutely will to get a workout in. And I really feel like it sets my day off right. It's almost like my cup of coffee, first of all. And second of all, working out at night has never been something that I've enjoyed. I feel like early when I started kind of working out on a regular basis and I just needed to get the workout in, if I wasn't able to fit it during the day, I did it at night, and it just did not feel good for me.
No, I totally agree. It does not feel good for me whatsoever. I can take my dog for a walk at night just for her. Me working out at night just elevates my heart rate, which is one of the reasons why I like to do it in the morning. It's my cup of coffee. Yeah. I get my coffee pot ready, I hit start, I jump on the Peloton, or I go for a run, and when I take a break, my coffee's ready. My head's clear. My skin feels really good. I drink a ton of water when I'm working out, so I'm really hydrated. Like if it's an intense day of like crazy meetings, and I know, I mean, there sometimes contract negotiations or interpersonal work communications get, I don't want to say hostile, but the
Heated,
leveraged, and so heated, and that's even putting it a little bit like not just if it's going to be a difficult day, I will do something like a bike boot camp or something where I'm going to be burning like 500 plus calories because my husband does not travel well. Yeah. So we get to the airport, we get through security clearance, the gate clearance. And once we're in, he calms down. So then we have to drive to Zion. So then we have to get in our car and drive all the way to a beautiful national park, but still, it just knew it was going to be a crazy day. So I had to get it in.
It does get hectic with family for mothers, I think, to plan a trip because it's rarely a vacation. Having to plan the trip ahead of time and then dealing with, whatever kind of comes. It's really more like putting out fires, I feel.
So I didn't make this up, but one of my friends said it to me. When you are traveling with kids, it's no longer a vacation. It's a trip with your family.
Right.
Which is what it is.
Yeah.
And I do all the packing.
Right.
I dress the kids every day, or I pick out their clothes. I do their hair. I do everything. And so it's one of those, we're really good partners, but that's my area of expertise with the kids. And I know exactly like what we're going to be dealing with.
When I was married, a lot of people would say, well, just let him, just let him do it, or just fix it, but I think that's easier said than done.
Yeah. Oftentimes. It's also hard too, because I'm sure you have dealt with this, but I'm dealing with a lot of generational differences.
Right.
So I get comments from like my in-laws like, wow, he's such a present dad. Like, look at him picking up his kids from school. Like, yeah, well, he's their dad. He's my partner.
Right.
Oh, that's great. Like, I didn't, it's amazing. Dads didn't do that when our kids were young.
That's true. You bring up a good point. There's a social expectation from the older generations that comes into play, because then it's almost like, oh, this is enough because at least I'm doing more than maybe my dad did. Or
yeah, and you have to think about back in the day too. Women were most often than not working, not in control of their own finances. It was certainly not in my family. My mother always worked, but one of those situations where she was in what is considered a traditional woman's. She's a nurse, and so I think in like her generation in the 50s, at least in the 50s and 60s, like the baby boomer era, there was just a different opinion of how parents usually react. There's this really funny lady I follow on Instagram called Call Me Kristen, and she'll do these like little boomer grandma jokes, and it's just like, oh my God, it's exactly.
So talk a little bit about work. So you mentioned that you like to get up and exercise, especially if you have a meeting or something that's going to be intense that day. Tell us a little bit about what you do and what it looks like.
Sure. So I'm an in-house attorney. I've been an attorney for 20 years. I started my career off in big law, which is where you represent corporations. And then when I became a mom, I thought I was going to stay at home, which lasted 10 months. I was driving myself crazy. I was driving myself crazy, my husband crazy. So I wanted to go back to work. I started, and then I transitioned in-house to, when I say in-house, that means usually lawyers are either at a firm or they're a solo practitioner or they're, quote, in-house, which is when they are working as an attorney in a corporation. And where we live is Silicon Valley, so there's lots of different opportunities for in-house attorneys here. That said, it's really hard to move from a traditional firm attorney to go in-house. You have to have this business acumen as an attorney. Most attorneys don't have it because you go to law school, because a lot of times you go to law school because you're very analytical. But to be an in-house attorney, you have to have this ability to understand how the business works, not just how to balance the risk, but how to make an effectuate business decision. And so what I do is I've had various roles. I just left being a general counsel. Before that, I was at a company I was a vice president of legal at a company. I'm going to start a new job on Monday as a senior director.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm excited. A senior director at a much larger global organization and reporting to the senior VP general counsel. It's a medical diagnostics company. I just left a medical diagnostics company. They really do a lot of good in the world in terms of PCR testing and TB testing for countries where TB is a real big problem, because I really do enjoy being part of a mission-driven organization. I'm going to be working in data digital products, which is where a piece of hardware connects to a digital cloud.
Mm-hmm.
Also AI, machine learning, which is really interesting and
super hot.
Yeah, AI's been around for a long time, people. We just started calling it AI recently.
Well, sometimes I don't know how much of it is actual AI and some of it is algorithms. So it's
it's also AI washing. So the SEC, I don't want to get into it. The SEC has really cracked down on it.
Mm-hmm.
They've done a few enforcement actions where they've gone after organizations for AI washing their technology.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you're pointing out is right. Like, well, you don't know if it's AI or algorithms. Well, algorithms, machine learning, that's been around for like 20 plus years.
Right.
You just have to look at all the IBM patents. That's all there, guys.
Mm-hmm.
All of it. That's technically is what you can call AI.
Mm-hmm.
And
but AI, when I think of AI, I think of the actual inferencing.
Yes,
yeah.
And the intelligent inferencing,
right?
And that is different, and not just like from a data set. Yes, not just from a data lake. I agree, but investors don't necessarily know that,
right?
And so what companies are doing is they're saying that their technology utilizes AI.
Mm-hmm.
Most companies do utilize, at least to a small part, AI, and investors look at that and the valuation of the company goes from 1x, 2x, 3x. And so the SEC is cracking down on it. Like, how much are you using AI? Are you really doing AI?
What is the SEC?
The Securities Exchange Commission.
Okay. So I did a lot of technical marketing, content creation at my last company, and legal was my best friend. I mean, basically wanted to make sure that everything that was being put out was vetted by legal. There were very few exceptions on when I could release it prior to vetting or, while the vetting process was undergoing. And I just remember I had a very good relationship with legal because I had to work with them every time I released any content to the customer.
Great.
Yeah.
So it's you were working with basically you were working with legal when you're like, can I do this release?
Right.
With this content in
With
here?
this content, yes. Is there anything about this content that would create controversy or would bring up, an opportunity for discovery later? So that was big. So, making sure that communication was very streamlined even amongst internal colleagues, and ensuring that in the case that there was a possible discovery, which knock on wood in 8 years never happened, but in that case it was just kind of making sure that wasn't the case. And then also I did a lot of competitive analysis in high tech and just making sure that analysis didn't make really vast claims, just really big claims, or even implying really big claims. Yeah, making sure data was normalized.
So that's great, because I did that too. I worked with marketing quite a bit on different marketing. I don't know, it's marketing campaigns on what they can say, what they can't say. Like McDonald's, they'll send you a cease and desist, and just like they want to really protect that brand.
Right.
I'm like, protect that brand. Have you seen what that brand's doing?
Right.
But.
Yeah, well, McDonald's used to, I heard this a long, long time ago, that when the founder or CEO of McDonald's or something was asked, like, what made you think of going into the fast food business? His response was, I'm not in the fast food business, I'm in the real estate business. And now they've actually, I don't know, this is old information also, but they had fallen to number 2 to Starbucks. And now I think Starbucks has even kind of dropped a little bit in terms of real estate owned.
In
the country.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. And I'm not sure how the franchise part of that business works. So I guess McDonald's actually owns the building, the brick and mortar, and then they franchise it out, and then the franchise holder will pay like the franchise taxes and all the royalties and all that. Yeah, no, I'm not sure. My kids are big fans of McDonald's. I can't stand it.
We haven't been in a minute. I used to take my kids a lot. They have one play place left in the area. And
good for you. I'm scared of those.
Oh, no, this one they did actually renovate, I think during COVID or after COVID or something, to make sure it's not as, I mean, those tube slides really scare me. I think that's where hand, mouth, foot was born, basically.
It's so funny. I have a friend who's an intern, and she was a mother of a daughter that my daughter was friends with from school. And I don't know if you remember, it was called Billy Bees. It's shut down. Yeah. The whole thing was a play gym, inside play gym with like slides and whatever. And when we took our kids there, I looked at her, I'm like, Mary, are you just like, are you okay here?
They don't particularly ask for McDonald's food. Anytime they asked for McDonald's, it was to go to that place.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, my kids will ask for McDonald's. We just did a road trip where, McDonald's looked great. Chick-fil-A is my oldest daughter's favorite.
I like their sauces. I went on a road trip with my kids to Disneyland last December.
Oh, and Anaheim Disneyland.
And I mean, we stopped. Actually, before that, I had gone on a road trip without my kids. And thank goodness this happened without my kids and not with my kids, because if it happened with them, I would have been toast. But basically, I had eaten, there was one Baja Fresh by Bakersfield or something like that. And I hadn't seen a Baja Fresh in ages because they're not around here anymore. I think there was one left in Palo Alto. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There was like one left in Palo Alto, and I don't even know if that one's left anymore. And so I went, and I got so sick off of that Baja Fresh. I have never been that sick on a road trip before. But I remember like thinking, thank goodness the kids aren't here, because I would just, what would I do? I'm super sick. I don't feel good.
And then your kids would be sick.
And then they had Baja Fresh, which they're smarter than that. They probably would not have had it. I think they have that survival instinct of like, this is new. I don't know it. I'm not going to eat it. I'm going to stick to McDonald's.
Okay. Well, that would have been good. Yeah. No, there was this. It's not Baja Fresh. There were these things that were in Cupertino, and I loved it. It was called Wahoo's Fish Tacos.
Oh,
that
I
was
remember
my
that.
favorite, and it was generally healthy.
Yes.
You could get fish tacos, and there was nowhere in Northern California except for Bakersfield.
Okay.
And Anaheim. So when we did a road trip to the Disneyland, we actually would have
Wahoo's Tacos.
Wahoo's Fish Tacos, because my husband also loved it. Like he loves it so much, he looks up copycat recipes on how to make their sauces.
Yeah.
which,
I did that for this. Jamba Juice used to have this amazing smoothie called Strawberry Sunrise. Have you ever heard of it? It's got quite a bit of yogurt in it. And so for me, smoothies have to have yogurt. I don't understand the whole smoothies without yogurt. I put yogurt in all my smoothies. And so this one, Strawberry Sunrise, has yogurt in it. And I looked up the copycat
Yeah,
recipe.
I've done the copycat recipes are good.
Yeah.
They're never perfect. Like I've done the Benihana's fried rice one. I've done C's copycat fudge recipe. And they're always there's always something, there's missing secret little ingredient that you don't get. Which is funny too, because one of the biggest things that come up during contractual negotiations is confidentiality,
right?
And how long the term that is called a tail, how long of the tail of confidentiality will last. But people always say, well, we only want 5 years of confidentiality. And I said, okay, well, what about trade secrets? Well, trade secrets, whatever. Nothing will be secret between us anymore after 5 years. Well, trade secrets, the definition of trade secrets in California is basically something that the company takes value in and takes steps to protect. And Coca-Cola's recipe is prime example that nobody knows that recipe.
Except two people.
And
they're not allowed on the same airplane.
And it's been confidential and a trade secret. Coca-Cola was and that's always my example I use because of so copycat recipes are always great. My kids always will be like, this doesn't taste like Benihana's fried rice. I'm like, yeah, I didn't put a pound of butter in it, kids. I want to make sure we don't get childhood diabetes in our family.
Right.
But
you're a very good cook. You cook a lot.
I do. I cook quite a bit. I've gotten really into making bread. I didn't fall in the bread phenomena during COVID, but working from home allows me to make bread because it's a multi-step process. From a cultural standpoint, I grew up with my grandmother and just cooking with her. My first job, I was 15 years old. looking back, I'm like, how is that not a violation of like child labor law? But I worked at a Italian deli, and I would make bread and cookies in this like giant commercial mixer and giant commercial oven. I have the starter, and I keep the starter just alive, and I've kept it alive for a year by just feeding it once a week with feeding it, tucking it in at night.
For anyone who's not familiar with starter, she's referring to yeast.
I'm referring to a yeast starter, which is actually it's a fungus, and to keep the fungus alive, it's a living organism. You have to feed it. You have to feed it water and flour to keep it alive. That starter that I have has been alive for like hundreds, I think 100 years.
Really?
And I got it from a friend who got it from a friend. Really, Barcelona has great food. Great food.
I love their tapas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you travel with your kids a lot, don't you?
We've done.
I mean, we're going on a camping trip.
We're going on a
my
camping
kids,
trip.
yeah.
I mean, that's local, but yes, no, I do. I really do value vacation and quality time with kids. We've been to Hawaii multiple times, Mexico, Costa Rica, Spain. We're supposed to go to Japan, but since my kids wouldn't even try the food in Spain, I'm going to say not until your little palates mature a little bit. I love traveling. I love camping. We love the outdoors. We've gone camping. This will be our third time going camping this year.
Nice.
So
I'm excited to go with a veteran because this is going to be my first time taking the kids
camping.
Oh,
okay, that'll be fun.
Yeah, right. No, we've got a lot of. I'm actually going to go climbing in Truckee.
Oh, cool.
I think not this weekend, but next weekend. I did my first outdoor climb last weekend at Castle Rock, which is super close. It's not even Santa Cruz.
No, are you talking about Castle Rock right in off of 9?
Yes, off of 9.
I love that place. Did you take your kids?
I did not, no, because this is my first outdoor climbing trip, and I wanted to make sure I had some handle on it first, but they're excited to go.
So we saw climbers in Zion.
Okay.
There's a huge, I'll show you the pictures. It's huge cliffs.
Yeah.
And I mean, Joe and I were we saw them walking by with their gear. We're like, we can't do that with our kids.
I'd be afraid to go with the kids because outdoor climbing is such a different beast. My kids indoor climb all the time. They love it. Especially my oldest. She's super good at it. She loves it. But outdoor climbing is such a different beast because it requires a helmet. And this is what I didn't realize. I thought the helmet was for a potential fall. It's not. It's for just bumping heads against the top of the rock, going into a cave, things like that. I mean, my helmet was all scraped up by the time I was done because I hit it several times. So it's a totally different beast. Plus, it's top rope climbing in a gym is so different because it's climb up, climb down. If there's a fall, it's a very low risk fall. There's really no risk of hitting the wall and hurting oneself. Whereas here, the top rope ends up veering away from where the top rope is attached. And so if I were to take a slip or take a fall, I'd be tumbling kind of on the wall, tumbling on this rock wall, which is so different from being in a gym. The gym is just very controlled. It's a very controlled environment. It's great for practicing. I mean, I felt very comfortable climbing on the wall, and I felt like, I could use some of the climbing techniques that I've used, and that I've been practicing at the gym. But, practical climbing outside is just totally different. A lot of improvisation, a lot of changing the route, and and the biggest thing is, which I joke about, is that they're not colored plastic rocks. So I'm not like, oh, I know to go to this hole next. I know to go to this. It's like, where do I go, right? And it all looks the same color, and I don't know what's sticking out at some points. So it is quite a bit different from climbing indoors. So
whatever.
So many different things we can talk about. But yeah, I really am grateful to you for joining the show. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on another episode of Modern Mom. We'll see you next time. Bye.